Have you ever wished that you could live on a tropical island and leave all your worries behind? In this short video, we'll discuss how you can at least leave your tax worries behind by moving to Puerto Rico to take advantage of its amazing tax incentives, especially if you are an American citizen. If you're not interested in legally saving a boatload of money on taxes, or if the idea of moving to Puerto Rico is a non-starter, this video is not for you. But if you love crystal blue water, rainforest waterfalls, pina coladas, and the idea of keeping the vast majority of your income, you've come to the right place. At Sovereign Man, we don't just talk about Puerto Rico's amazing tax opportunities, we live it. The founder of Sovereign Man, Simon Black, as well as multiple Sovereign Man team members, are currently based in Puerto Rico, paying a 4% tax rate and no capital gains taxes. In the United States, politicians have made it very clear that they want to increase taxes. They've proposed everything from hiking capital gains and corporate tax rates to annual wealth taxes and a global minimum corporate tax. The problem for Americans is that they cannot simply move out of the country to avoid handing over their hard-earned money to Uncle Sam. The United States claims the right to tax US citizens no matter where in the world they live or earn money. But there is an exception for US territories. The US allows possessions like Puerto Rico to set their own tax laws, and any American who becomes an official bona fide resident of Puerto Rico is subject to Puerto Rico's tax authorities, not Washington, D.C.'s, in most cases. Puerto Rico has had some tough times, from massive debt problems to natural disasters, but since 2012, Puerto Rico has been attracting wealth and investment to the island by offering tax incentives under a law called Act 60. These used to be called Act 20, the Export Services Act, and Act 22, the Individual Investor Act. Now they're organized under the new Incentives Code, but the benefits largely haven't changed. The Export Services Act allows anyone who performs services for customers outside of Puerto Rico to pay a 4% corporate tax rate. And yes, contract workers and the self-employed can take advantage of this as well as major corporations. It does not apply to companies which export physical products. Instead, the incentives work for services like consulting, telemedicine, coding, marketing, online publishing, and so much more. The Individual Investor Act allows investors to pay no taxes on most capital gains and some dividends accrued after moving to the island. You heard that correctly, a 0% capital gains tax rate, although there are some other requirements, such as a mandatory yearly donation to a Puerto Rican charity and buying a primary residence on the island within 2 years of moving. Here at Sovereign Man, we have just updated our comprehensive 57-page guide to Puerto Rico's tax incentives. This is one of the many black papers, alerts, and monthly letters members of Sovereign Man Confidential, our flagship service, receive regularly. You can get instant access to the updated Puerto Rico Black Paper, as well as all of our research, by becoming a member of Sovereign Man Confidential. This guide walks you through everything you need to know about Puerto Rico's Export Services and Individual Investor Act tax incentives. That includes recent changes, how to apply for the incentives, and what you need to qualify, such as reporting requirements and how to become a bona fide resident of Puerto Rico. This one report has saved our members quite literally millions of dollars in taxes. That is money that they can now use to invest in their futures, expand their businesses, take care of their families, and tick more items off the Plan B checklist to ensure that no matter what happens in the world, they will thrive. Click the link below to learn more and start benefiting from our research. Take a member of our Sovereign Man family, Laura, who moved to Puerto Rico in 2019 after learning of the incentives through us. Laura is a consultant and was paying an effective tax rate of 47% living in Washington, D.C. She cut that down to just over 4% using the Export Services Incentive, plus the very low municipal taxes. You do have to actually make the move in order to take advantage of the tax incentives. And yes, that means putting up with some potholes and inefficiencies typical to island life. But for an American who doesn't mind living on the beach and paying hardly any taxes, Puerto Rico can be one of the simplest and most profitable ways to maximize your gains. Naturally, this has made some DC politicians, greedy for your money, take aim at pressuring Puerto Rico to end these tax incentives. But anyone who takes advantage of these opportunities now will be grandfathered in. The government of Puerto Rico essentially signs a 15-year contract granting you the special tax rates. By joining Sovereign Man Confidential, you secure your ticket to the lowest tax rates available anywhere on Earth. And once you're settled in your hammock in paradise, you can read about all the other freedoms Sovereign Man can help you reclaim. Click the link below to see how you can benefit from becoming a member of Sovereign Man Confidential.